This is not what we agreed upon. But it is far superior to what I ever could have dreamed of. It is the Newman International 2021 yearbook.
Why are we here? It's because we are
preparing outstanding warriors with wisdom to overcome and win.
Hi, I'm Samuel Guy,
I'm George.
and this is Powwow. We're going to be going over the birthdays for the next 3 weeks. We have, first off, Yasmin,
Ayamade,
Zion,
Loriana,
David,
Olu,
Danielle,
Connor,
Christian,
Ashley Espinosa,
Bradley,
Tyler,
Emmanuel,
Angel Perez,
Ashley Peterson,
Arlie,
Orlana Gooden,
Riley,
Sydney Cross,
Gustavo,
Ashton.
Estefany.
So great job to our faxid for cleaning off computers and the cabinet in Miss Spoon's room.
And Mike for really cleaning the whiteboard off Miss Spoons.
And then we have the student athletes of the week. Both Corey and Anthony Mendoza did amazing in the tournament. They both got all tournament for this last couple of games, and they just both performed at a high level.
Also, Abigail Garcia and Gooden for winning all tournament.
And now a lesson from Mr. Steve.
Okay,
Now,
let's do it again.
all right, you're gonna do it again?
Is it over?
And we have announcements. All right.
Yes. I
And
messed
now-
up so bad.
Yes, he can probably.
Come on, the battery is running.
Okay,
Come on.
and now
They can probably clip it,
announcements.
so.
Wait, and now announcements. So we have no semester exam. Wait.
Lord.
Okay, sorry.
Bite your tongue.
And now
Bite your tongue.
announcements. We have semester exams this next week, 12/14 to 12/17. They're Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. A1 and A2 for the first day, B1 and B2 for the second day, and etc. The main difference between the normal ones is A3 and A4 and B3 and B4 will still be at the regular time. They're not switching the schedule, so they're not switching B3 to where B1 normally is. So just keep look out for that. Remember that. And then early dismissal on Friday, December 18th.
Alright, Christmas break will start. Wait, you never told me this.
December 21st.
December 21st, and students return January 6th.
So, and now the school song.
Good morning, Newman Warriors. How are you guys doing today? This is Mr. Steve, one of the student support teachers in the building, as well as the assistant baseball coach and the head golf coach. Today, I'm going to talk about accountability. Now, I bet you all are just scratching your heads. What is accountability, Mr. Steve? Well, actually, this is something that's going to be coming up for you guys in the next couple weeks. Accountability is basically going to be summed up in one word: responsibility. Now, what does responsibility also mean? Well, responsibility is you're responsible for something. You know, it could be your responsibility for your homework, you're responsible for your cell phone, your backpack, your shoes, your car, maybe your brothers and sisters you maybe have to watch at home. Numerous things, you know, like for me, I'm accountable for my son Liam, my wife Rebecca, the kids that I help support, and also my baseball guys. And my baseball guys know that I'm responsible and accountable for them. And that's a big thing that I've dealt with in my life is accountability. Now, we could go on and talk about it, but I've got a great story for y'all today. And this involves in my former career that something happened to me that I was accountable for. And it happened when I was working in college athletics. Now, that was my career before I became a teacher. I spent 16 years in the wonderful world of college athletics. So I've been to the smallest of small schools, all the way up to the biggest schools in the world. And one of those schools was UCLA. Now, a lot of you know UCLA is famous for a lot of things. We're famous for our basketball. We're famous for, I think we're famous for a football team. But, we're famous for a lot of things. And one of those famous things is Coach Wooden. And that's somebody that's near and dear to my heart because I actually got to meet Coach Wooden. And the one thing that I asked Coach when I first met him was, how'd you do it? And he said, ask me, how'd I do what? And I said, how did you win all those national championships? And this is something that he talked to me, and I use this in my philosophy as a coach and as a teacher now. And he says, I was accountable for all those young men because some of those guys were coming from New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Diego, you name it, anywhere. And some of those guys came from maybe the poorest of the poor or the richest of the richest. But I had to look at my kids, and I was accountable for them because I was accountable for them to get a good education, to play basketball at UCLA, and to become a man or a human being. And that really struck me because he never talked about his national championships. And Coach had 12 national championships. And he also had very famous players like Bill Walton and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, on and on. I could go on forever of guys who played for Coach Wooden back in the 70s, before y'all were born. But this is, he was a great guy. So that's something that I do in my life. Now, when my son was born, I was accountable for him. And I gained responsibility for to raise my son, and who is now 7, who loves to play drums, is a little hockey menace, and he's also our bat boy. So he loves hanging out with the guys. And I'm responsible for him. I'm actually accountable for him because I'm accountable for him to grow up. I'm accountable for him to become a person. I'm accountable for him to be what he wants to do in life. And if something happens to him, I'm responsible for that. A good example is one time that he fell and almost hurt himself, and my wife got upset, and she's like, were you watching him where you were at? And I was like, yeah, I was. See, but I was accountable for him because I was responsible for my son. And that's the one thing that I live with my coaching philosophy is that I'm accountable for everybody. And the guys can say that. And my students can say that I'm very accountable for them. I'm responsible for them. And if they're failing a class, I'm there to help them bring it up because I'm accountable for them to get it up, get their grades up. I'm also accountable for them, for my players, to become men, to become, warriors in life. And that's something that I take responsible for. And a lot of guys will say, hey, Coach Steve was the best guy that I ever had, or Mr. Steve. And because he taught me something, he taught me, he was responsible for me. He was doing that. And that's how I live my life. And then I'm accountable for stuff. I'm accountable for, like I said, for my wife, for my son, for my students that I serve. And then also I'm accountable for my ball players. And so now how can you guys be accountable in your life? Well, the first thing is to do is, maybe you 8th graders, you 9th graders, you 10th, 11th, and 12th, everybody. Is you got to be accountable for who you are, what your actions are. And that's something also that I have, because if you're not accountable for yourself, then you might be a bad, not a bad person, but people might think differently of you. The one thing that I also was taught from Coach Wooden is how to act yourself as well. And I could be the grumpiest of grumps, the meanest guy in the world, but every morning I always say hi to every teacher that I see, try to talk to them, and any student that I see, I always say, hey, how are you doing? Because that makes accountability or the responsibility of me of being a person who I am. And now kind of jumping around is how can you guys be responsible or accountable for yourself? Well, with 2 weeks left in the semester, not even close, we have exams. And I know some of you are all stressed out about, hey, how am I going to pass this class? How am I going to get this work turned in? The big thing is though, guys, you've got to be accountable for yourself. If you're not turning your work in on time, you're not, doing the assignments, or not even taking your test, or any of that stuff, or rushing through your test, it hurts you, and you guys could, possibly, have a low grade, and then your parents are like, hey, what's going on? That's your responsibility. You're accountable for yourself to pass classes, to turn your work in on time, because the big thing in college is what we say. You don't have that extra day, or the hey, if I don't turn it on, if I turn in the day after and I should have gotten 100, I got a 90. Well, the day after turns into a 0 and you failed the class. Well, the big thing I'm trying to tell you guys is you got to be accountable, responsible for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to, whatever you guys do, you got to be responsible for yourself. You cannot blame others for that. And that's one thing also Coach said. If you blame others for other things, you're not going to be successful in life. And that was a model that I took from Coach as well. Because I could say, example last year, we were playing at a tournament in Nazarene out in Burleson at Nazarene, and we were getting beat pretty bad. And I could see it in the guys that they were upset. And I wanted to go out and turn it around, and I was going to take accountability on this game and say, hey, forget about it. And the guys will tell you this. This is actually a very funny story. I walked up to the mound, and I said, boys, we're going to Chick-fil-A after this. And everybody chuckled, and we broke right there. And Coach Nelson kind of looked at me and goes, what did you say to him? And I said, well, we're going to Chick-fil-A. And I took accountability, though, that we were losing, but it was my responsibility to get the team up and have fun. And I'll tell you, it was the best time I ever had at a Chick-fil-A in ages, was with the boys and that. Because I always say the boys because those are my boys. And that's one thing. So I hope today, I know I'm going pretty short and sweet and simple, and I know y'all want to get your test, but hey, the big thing in life is that you got to be accountable for yourself. Because if you don't, it's what kind of character you are and how are you going to handle things when you become an adult. Because if you're not accountable for numerous things, it's going to crumble on you. And I've seen it firsthand. I've had family members do that. They put the blame game on other stuff, but you guys have to be accountable, because you can say, hey, it's Mr. Steve's fault. No, it's your fault. You're the one who didn't turn the work in. You can't blame your teachers, because you guys are responsible. They give the assignments, they teach lessons. So, but at the end of all of this, I hope you guys got something out of it, some fun, some laughter, anything. And I rambled on a lot, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And from the Steve family to yours, have a happy holidays to you all.
And now for the announcements. We have semester exams December 14th through December 17th. Everything's as usual, except the only difference is Wednesday and Thursday. So the A3, A4, B3, and B4 tests will be in the afternoon as opposed to in the morning. Other than that, it's all the same. And then we have early dismissal on Friday, December 18th.
Also, students, break starts Monday, December 21st, and will return January 6th.
And now for the school song.
May God bless our school as we march to light tomorrow and stand tall today with love, faith, and hope. We rise to build our nation with wisdom, stature, and faith. Yeah. May God bless our school today and forever.
Christmas break starts Monday, December 21st, and students return Wednesday, January 26th.
January 6th.
You said 26.
Close enough.
Restarted.